Hi, my name is Sherilyn Dorsey, and I am creator and founder of You're More Than Their Mother, and I teach moms and women to reclaim, realign, and rebalance their lives and to go after their dreams. So today, I am talking about, as I stated a second ago, internal communication. And internal communication is described as many things: self-chatter, internal dialogue, that little voice in your head, right? I know definitely there are some believers who say, that God speaks to them and things like that. But I think even believers believe that they have an internal voice of their own, the self, that speaks to them and has them to do different things. So if that is you, I'm talking to you as well, or whatever it is, that voice that you believe is you, be it your higher or lower self, that talks to you. I want to talk to you about that and essentially get us trained on how to reset our defaults. Many of us, and this is done, many of us have negative defaults about ourselves, meaning I'm too big, I'm too dark, I'm too light, I'm too skinny, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm inexperienced, I'm overqualified, I have not before, whatever it is that we're making up in our heads that keep us separate from our ultimate goal, living the life it is of our dreams. I often call it arguing for our mediocrity, right? We have to really change those defaults in ourselves. And we have to really, the first part about it is to recognize that we are talking to ourselves in a negative tone. We are talking to ourselves negatively. And the way that you will know that is when you start saying what you can't do. Now, let's just say it is that you are saying, hey, I want to jump over the trash can over there. I want to jump over this car, right? Probably where you are now with the fitness level you're at now, perhaps you cannot jump over the car right now, right? But the conversation it is that you can have in your head, the way that you can change that around is you can simply say, I want to jump over that car and I have to do things to prepare myself to be able to jump over that car. Or I want to jump over that car. There is a way. I have to figure it out. Right? I want to jump over that car. I wonder what things there are to aid me in jumping over that car, be it an apparatus or be it me upping or increasing my fitness level and my ability to jump in order to get over it. Figuring out what that looks like for you, opposed to literally saying, I can't jump over that car. Because when you say that, when you do things like that, you cut off all creativity to the resources it is that you may have in order to help you figure out how to do the thing it is that you are telling yourself that you can't do. Opposed to when you say, I need to figure out how to jump over that car. It's like this gateway or this flood of ideas and creativities begin to usher themselves in because you have opened yourself up to the possibility that it can be done. It can be done. There is a way, be it aided or unaided, be it through you or with the help of another individual, but there is a way it can happen. And I just want to encourage you to change your self-chatter. I call it oftentimes when I'm helping women to identify it, I call it negative self-chatter. We have these beliefs about ourselves, and let's talk about women, in particular Black women, right? I'm a Black woman, so that's the best example it is that I can use for you because it's most related to me. We have this narrative going on around about us, and I want to preface it with this, and then I'll leave it here. Me talking about this does not mean the same thing is not happening in other groups, in other ethnicities, or anything like that. I am choosing to talk about specifically Black women. All righty? All right, let's move on. So Black women have this narrative going on around them about what it is that they should look like, how it is that they should sound, how far it is that they can go, what it is that they can do, just all of these different things, right? And so often, admittedly, I have heard us, when we get ready to go up to a job, let's say in job interview, and we are wondering why, no, let me back up. We're ready to go to a job interview. One of the first things it is that I hear people telling me about is, oh, I hope they hire me. You know how they are about strong Black women. We got to let that go. we have to let that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're calling forth in our life the people it is who do not have that type of bias, or people who have that bias, recognize it, and are working to move beyond it and to see talent that is congruent with what it is that they're looking for. But if we are constantly calling those people forth and wishing that they weren't there, because the truth is, although we're saying we hope that they aren't, we're actually pulling those type of people forward because we're not identifying what it is that we do want, right? Opposed to saying what you don't want, tell us what you do want. But that starts in your head and you changing the belief it is that you have about yourself. And when you say those things, that gives you insight on how it is that you feel about you. Because if that wasn't how you felt about yourself, that wouldn't even be in your realm of consciousness at that time. It's like me saying, I'm not an elephant when I walked up to you. You would kind of look at me and go, girl, what are you talking about? Why would you even think you don't look like it? You don't fit, right? I'm not talking about that because I'm not that thing. I don't believe that about myself. There's no way that is attributed towards me because that's not who it is that I have identified or defined myself to be. Right? So why would I talk about that? Well, with that extreme example, that's the same thing it is I'm talking about, that we feed ourselves in our mind, that we don't think it is that we're thinking about ourselves negatively, but it actually comes out in that way. So we have to stop the negative self-chatter. It starts there when we're talking about changing the world around us or outside of us, when we're talking about changing our relationships, when we're talking about changing our professional lives, our financial lives. We have to change our internal conversation about that in order to manifest externally the thing it is that we're calling forth. All right. So I'm kind of rushing. I'm actually going to loop back around to this because I don't feel like I developed this out enough. But tell me your thoughts about this. Tell me what you think about what I'm saying and what direction it is that you want me to go in. I have to get in here to my appointment, my nail appointment, and I got to get back to work. So I will check back in with you all then. But until we speak to each other again, it's time. Remember, it's time to move beyond everyone else's expectations of who you ought to be and become the woman you thought that you could be. Bye.